call to order the Parks and Recreation Committee. I'm Roxanne Murphy, Chair of the committee, and I'm joined by fellow committee members Councilmember Vargas and Councilmember Weiss. We have one agenda item, which is Bloedel Donovan Park Stormwater and Shoreline Project Update. So this is a project that will mitigate nutrient and bacteria loading that comes from stormwater runoff. This project is proposed to occur during the fall and winter months when the lake and groundwater levels are low. But the good news is this is also when the park has less public use during the fall and winter. So we'll get an update on this for information only. And James King, would you like to start?
Thank you. So this is a project that we're working together with Public Works to do our part to reduce the stormwater runoff that's coming off the park and going into Lake Whatcom. As well as there's a failing bulkhead there that we need to take care of. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gina Austin, who is the project manager.
Hello, my name is Gina Austin, and I'm a project engineer with the City of Bellingham Parks Department. And I have a short presentation here to just give some background on the project and talk about what we're doing. So what we're doing is we're going to complete some stormwater improvements in the park, again, to reduce nutrient and bacteria loading. And the area that we're talking about is the lawn area that is north of the parking lot, and I'll show that what that area looks like in plan. The parking lot and paved surfaces are already treated, so we're not working on those areas. We're also proposing some shoreline improvements to remove, again, as James said, a failing bulkhead and complete some shoreline sand and gravel in place of the bulkhead. And we're doing this project now because it is a council priority, and we do have funding through a grant, and we have matching funds through Public Works. So we collaborated with the Public Works Natural Resources Division on design of this project. We completed a pre-design report, which I have here, and it's on the City of Bellingham's website. We published this report and had it available on the city website before we noticed the project and sent out notices to neighbors and mailers and our SEPA notice, just so people would have a chance to review the report. This plan view is a portion of the north end of Bloedel Donovan Park. So here's Electric Avenue, and north is up, existing volleyball court. The parking lot is just off the page here. This is the preschool building, playground. What we're proposing to do is remove a concrete wall that's here buried near the shoreline, so Lake Whatcom's up here. Remove some lawn and replace it with sand. And then remove some lawn in the upland area here, replace it with a sand base, and then putting turf back over the sand. And this is the other side of the park. So this is the existing pavilion. The boat launch is just off the page here. What we're proposing to do is everywhere that you see this yellowish color, brownish color, we're removing lawn, and we're going to be replacing with sand and a media filter drain, and I'll show you in a section what that looks like. In this end of the park, we're also removing this failing concrete bulkhead, and I've got some photos of that. And then below ordinary high water, we're proposing to put some cobble mixture down, something that's bigger than the sand that won't wash away. 3 trees are proposed to be removed as part of this project. These are alders located in the north end of the park. This one is dead already. These other 2 are nearing the end of their design life. Alders have a growing period of about 25 to 30 years, and that's about the age of these trees. So they're not the high-value, long-lived maple trees that we have on the site, which can live up to 70 years or more. This guy right here is a maple tree that will stay, that won't be disturbed. And then we're also proposing to put in a pervious concrete walkway in this area through the lawn to connect the existing walkway to the beach. So we're doing this work to capture nutrients, and those nutrients are coming off of the lawn. They're coming from geese, from waterfowl. They're coming from just the natural process of the lawn, the phosphorus that's in the lawn. This water runs off of the park, and the lowest part around the park is around the shoreline. We contemplated this design as part of our master plan, and I'll show you the master plan at the end here, that we would have some sort of sand infiltration facility to capture water before it hits the lake, infiltrate it, keep that phosphorus on site, trap it, and keep the fecal matter on site. So this lawn being removed, replaced with sand, and underneath the sand would be this media filter drain. So that's more of an aggregate, kind of angular, larger rock. And there's an option that we can put assorbative material into that rock that would attract the phosphorus and hold it. And when we're proposing to do this, our schedule is we're in design and permit right now. We are proposing to go to the hearing examiner for a variance to do this work after the work window for the watershed. So we're looking to start construction September 2nd, right after the holiday, and get a lot of the earthwork done before that window closes, but we will be in that window of time where construction is prohibited. But we're going to have some best management practices in place to secure the site to do this work. And I'll show you some photos of why exactly we want to do this work in the fall and winter months. Why would we not do this in the summer? And then planning to bid this in July. So here's a photo of a typical day in July. The lake level is high, and that's the key here. The lake level is high. And here's October, where the lake level is low. So Lake Whatcom is artificially maintained. The lake levels are artificially maintained. The reason why we want to do this work in the fall is we want the greatest separation between our construction activity and the lake level and the groundwater. So high lake level, high groundwater. We don't want to be mixing our construction with this high water, and that's why we're proposing to do this in the fall. So this is the other end of the park. This is over by the boat launch. This is the failing concrete wall, and this is summertime when the lake level is high. So we don't want to be taking out this concrete wall and losing material here into the lake when the lake level is high. We want to do it in the fall when it looks like this. So this is low lake level, low groundwater. We can come in here in the dry. So rather than spend our money in dewatering and trying to hold back the lake, we can do this in the fall when the lake level is low, pull out this concrete wall, grade this site back, and replace it with sand and gravel. So here's the other end of the park. Here's the multipurpose room and pavilion. Again, lake level high in spring and summer, and then in the fall that lake level drops. So this is the area that we're going to be working in, and there's a buried concrete wall right about here that we're proposing to take out. Here's the stairs again, spring and summer, water high and water low. So we want to be working up here when this water level is low. And that's what I have.
Committee members, any questions? Councilmember Vargas.
Gina, can you tell me how far the sand, the new sand replacement will be? Like, is that 5 feet or maybe the next slide? Yeah, it goes around there. How wide is that?
This is about 25 feet or so. And when we designed this system, we looked at how much sand and media filter drain do we need to take the runoff. And these lines here are contours, so you're starting high and you're flowing low, low. How much surface area do we need and depth to treat this water? And also, what could we do to deter the waterfowl? So if we only need 10 feet here, say, we made it a little bit wider so that those birds wouldn't be landing and hanging out in this area. And what this design also does is it provides a dry area where people can actually walk along the shore and maybe stay out of the muddy lawn area. And that's another purpose that this pervious concrete will serve. And the other nice thing is the more lawn we remove, the more phosphorus generating surface we remove. So we're trying to find that balance of lawn and sand and gravel. In this area, we were pulling it all the way back to the volleyball court. It seemed like a natural place to have a larger beach.
Any other questions? Councilmember Weiss.
I guess this isn't really so much for this project, but I don't get to go to this park very often. But yesterday I was at it, and I noticed that the swimming platform, the diving platform, was gone. Is that something that is coming back after the construction, or is that a permanent decision to remove it?
It is a permanent decision to remove it. We had that back when we had staff to be lifeguards there.
Okay.
When the decision to remove those lifeguards were made, it was decided we should get rid of the infrastructure as well.
Okay.
But the other problem that was happening there is that basin is filling in a little bit, so it was starting to get too shallow to dive off of things.
Anything further? Councilmember Vargas.
I do have one thing, and this might be a separate issue, but while we're working at Blodell Donovan Park, trying to think if you can look at the map, where the bridge goes over along the park, and where the kids dive off from into the water there. One of the things that's always kind of concerned me is the safety issue. Kids are going to keep doing it. However, it would be really nice if we could, there it is on that line, there's only a white line on the road that shows where the traffic would go, but I've always thought it'd be wonderful, and I don't know what the parameters are around safety, if we could paint that portion of the sidewalk yellow so that kids and people driving could see where that barrier is, because it's really dangerous, especially at night, or kids get rambunctious around there, and it's not easy to see where that line is. If you walked it, you'll see what I mean. I live right across the street, so I don't know if this could be something, but if we're doing their working, I don't know if that's something we could look at. I don't know what the rules are around there, but I think it would bring in a little added element of safety around kids knowing exactly where that barrier is, and also people driving down the street. So because there's no obvious marker on where the sidewalk ends, and so if we're doing work, I'd like to propose that. Thanks.
Okay, anything further? Seeing none. So this was for information only, which will be brought forward to our council meeting tonight. Council members, do you have anything further on any other Parks and Recreation issue? Seeing none, end of committee. Thank you.